Welcome to the Fighting on Film podcast, the podcast all about classic and obscure war movies, from the Normandy landings to the days of chivalry and swords. If it's been captured on film, we're going to try and cover it. I'm Robbie of RM Military History.
I'm Matthew Moss of Historical Firearms and the Armourer's Bench.
Welcome back to Fighting on Film. Do 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 do.
That's the intro. I'm putting that in.
That's straight away.
So after Matt's amazing intro there, we want to thank everyone for returning to the show, listeners old and new, wherever you are for downloading our comeback show last week, Tis the Sun. Me and Matt have internal targets and things we want the show to hit every week, and you guys helped us smash it, and we were really we weren't on tenterhooks or anything.
It's not about the numbers.
It's not about the numbers at all here, but it's nice to sort of come back with a bang, and we think people did like our Tears episode, so do go back and listen to that. But before we begin, did you see, Matt, that Family Guy has done a Top Gun parody episode?
No, I didn't, and I will say though that they used to do some pretty good ones. I really like the Star Wars ones back in the day.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, and obviously the American Dad did a Vietnam parody. It was quite heavy movie references.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, just
I watched some clips of it. It looked good. I don't have the streaming service it's on now, or don't even know what it's on. Peter plays Tom Cruise and Stewie's Val Kilmer. It's quite funny. And there's a funny bit where they say the mission is like the Death Star run in Star Wars: A New Hope. And I was like, hey, yeah, it is a bit. Although it is one of those movies I've only seen bits of, never watched it in full.
The second one's even more like that. They literally fly down a canyon.
They say that in the Family Guy, and they go, everything's different but exactly the same.
Exactly. That's it. That really is it. But there is a bit where in Maverick, there's a bit where he runs, which I believe is contractual.
Oh, what, Tom Cruise?
Yeah, he has to run in every film now, apparently.
Oh, right. What, did they park the jet really far away from the Nissan hut, and he has to run? I don't know if the US Navy's using Nissan huts, but you know what I mean?
Spoilers right now, but they crash and he runs.
Oh, right,
to the plane. So,
well, this just happens to be there.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Wow.
You have to see it to believe it, Rob.
Oh, fair enough. Anyway,
this week we're covering 12 Strong, which is a film with Chris Hemsworth. It came out in 2018, and it's basically about an operational detachment Alpha team, which is Green Berets, part of the 5th Special Forces Group, that went into Afghanistan in late 2001, in the immediate aftermath of 9/11, and they're hunting down the Taliban. They're trying to break up the Taliban government in Afghanistan. And for a change, I thought I'd give everyone the synopsis of the film at the start of the show.
Well done. I've put in a semi-synopsis in my production notes as well.
Thank God. Because often we got a good 15, 20 minutes in before we actually mention what the film's about.
We do a lot of assuming on the listener's part.
We do.
Thinking that they're going to know the synopsis of a movie. But we like to be highbrow here. We like to be highbrow.
Yeah.
Anyway, Matt, as you mentioned, Mr. Hemsworth, could you get into the cast for us, please?
Certainly. So Hemsworth is playing Captain Mitch Nelson, who is based on Captain Mark Nutch, who is a member of the 5th Special Forces Group, commanding the ODA 595, which is basically an A team, which is part of the Green Berets. So essentially, his character is the only member of the team that hasn't seen combat, which is true to life, apparently. And Nutch apparently said watching the film with Hemsworth playing himself was surreal, which I imagine it would be. Can you imagine Chris Hemsworth playing you in a film? I can't.
So I imagine that's what Bob Dylan felt like when he saw Timothy Chalamet crooning.
Hey, this kid's pretty good. That was my worst Dylan.
Not bad.
Probably better. I haven't seen the film. It might be better than Timothy's. I don't know.
Maybe.
It's had good reviews. I don't know.
He won an award the other night.
Oh, so Hemsworth has appeared in Star Trek 2009. That was his first big screen role.
Got to get a Trekkie
Red Dawn. Absolutely. Red Dawn 2012, which we covered recently. Not his best film, but again, he wasn't the problem with that. No. Extraction 2020 and Extraction 2 in 2023. Both not bad. Then we got Michael Shannon, who plays Chief Warrant Officer Hal Spencer, and his character is inspired by Bob Pennington. He's basically the second in command. He's the warrant officer of the team. He appeared in other military films, including Tigerland in 2000, Pearl Harbor in 2001, which I completely forgotten he was in that. World Trade Center in 2006, and Nuremberg coming up soon this year, later released.
Right, I get him confused with Josh Brolin.
Oh, okay.
They look similar in the face to me, and I get them confused.
They do have a similar facial structure. Yeah.
But I think Shannon's the better actor.
I
think Shannon's very underrated.
Brolin can do it when he wants.
These are all people that have been in Marvel films, by the way. We should mention.
Yeah, speaking of which, Michael Pienaar plays Sergeant First Class Sam Diller. He's the intelligence sergeant with the team. He's appeared in Buffalo Soldiers in 2001, World Trade Center again in 2006, Battle Los Angeles 2011, and of course Fury in 2014. Navid Nagaban plays General Abdul Dostum, and Dostum, the leader of the Northern Alliance, or one of the leaders of the Northern Alliance. He's appeared in a number of different films, including Charlie Wilson's War in 2007, American Sniper in 2014, Sandcastle in 2017, Sniper Ghost Shooter in 2016, and Kandahar with Jared Butler in 2023.
Didn't Dostum then become
vice president
of Afghanistan
vice president
later on?
Of Afghanistan. He's currently in exile in Turkey right now. Numan Akar plays Mullah Razan, who is the kind of the Taliban field commander figurehead.
The big baddie.
He's a Turkish-German actor. Lots of international action films and recent TV work. William Fichtner plays Colonel John Mulholland, who is the commander of the 5th Special Forces Group, well known for his roles in Heat, Black Hawk Down. Obviously, we spoke about him in our episode a couple of months ago now. Pearl Harbor, more recently Independence Day 2 Resurgence. Then there's a whole 12-man team, which I'm just going to run through some of the guys just to let you know who's in here. But I'm not going to dive too deep into their credits, because for many of them this is their only military movie, really.
Right. Okay.
Trevante Rhodes plays Sergeant First Class Ben Milo. Jeff Stultz plays Sean Coffers. Thad Luckenbill plays Vern Michaels. Ben O'Toole plays Scott Black. Kenny Sherd plays Bill Bennett. Austin Stowell plays Fred Falls. Austin Herbert plays Pat Essex. Jack Kessie plays Charles Jones, and Kenneth Miller plays Kevin Jackson. They're all portraying members of ODA 595, basically. And I imagine the names have been changed as they were for Hemsworth and Shannon's characters.
The reason you didn't really delve into them much is because really, apart from Shannon, Payner, and Hemsworth, no one really gets a lot of lines.
Not really.
There's a few, but like they're there to be the team, aren't they?
Yeah. Trevante Rhodes as Milo gets a few lines. There's a scene with Stowell as Falls being the sniper. There's a couple of bits and bobs, but yeah, predominantly they don't get a lot of the dialogue. And then rounding us out, we've got actual Lieutenant Colonel Rob Rickle as
Catalina One mixer, papa.
So Rickle is actual U.S. Marine Corps colonel. Spent most of his time as a public affairs officer before. I think he was U.S. Marine Corps Reserve for a long while. And he plays Colonel Max Bowers, who's the commander of the 3rd Battalion, 5th Special Forces Group. And then Taylor Sheridan, this is an interesting one. Taylor Sheridan plays Brian, the paramilitary field officer from the CIA's Special Activities Division. Appears very briefly when the team arrive in Afghanistan at a base camp that
He's got an AK, innit?
He does, yeah. That they call AKMS, I think. That they call Alamo. And basically, he's the guy who created the massively successful Yellowstone series.
Wow.
Yeah, amazing.
God, he must
right?
be living. That show's incredibly successful.
He also wrote both Sicario films, which I
Wow.
did not know.
Incredible.
Yeah, and he appeared in an episode of Star Trek Enterprise in 2004.
Well, there you go. Is that cast for this week?
That's cast for this week.
Competent, I think. Well cast.
absolutely.
I think the cast are very strong here.
I agree.
Other thoughts later.
I think the four main players do really well. I actually quite like Navid Negban's portrayal as Dostum. I like that. I thought he brought something to it that was quite good.
Massively. Yeah, more on our thoughts later. But into production this week. So it's directed by Nikolai Fuglsig. Got that right. A Danish photojournalist turned director. He won the ICP Infinity Award for his journalism work on the Mayak plutonium production site. There was a bit of a pollutionist thing going on there in 1999. He also documented the Kosovan War in the late 90s and produced a 15-minute documentary called Return of the Exiled. And this is his first full feature directing credit. It's his only big directing credit, really, in terms of feature work. And his other recent work includes a series of adverts for the UK betting chain Ladbrokes. It's a very storied career here.
Wow.
The film is based off a 2009 book called Horse Soldiers, written by Doug Stanton. And I'll read you the Amazon description to give you a feel for the movie's plot, if Matt didn't already ruin this for me earlier. From the New York Times best-selling author In Harm's Way comes a true-life story of American soldiers overcoming great odds to achieve a stunning military victory. Horse Soldiers is a dramatic account of a small band of special forces men who secretly entered Afghanistan following 9/11 and rode to war on horses against the Taliban. Links up with what you said, thank God, or I would have got the wrong book, the wrong book entirely. Well, when I looked up Horse Soldiers, it took me a few minutes to realise that I was looking at the page for the John Wayne movie, Horse Soldiers.
Oh, the one that we half watched.
Yeah, and it really confused me. So these aren't my beautiful automobiles. This isn't my beautiful wife. So as Matt said,
beautiful Afghan warlord.
This isn't my beautiful cavalry hat. Based on the real-life exploits of the men of the US Special Forces ODA 595, as Matt said, Task Force Dagger. And Stanton said this of the making of the film in 2018. Jerry Bruckheimer has stuck with this story from the very beginning to try to take the story to the screen. It's a different story about two sides coming together for a common cause. That's from the Blu-ray.
Oh, is this Bruckheimer? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let the cat out of the bag there. This is a Blu-ray extra. That's from a Blu-ray extra feature called "Making of an Impossible Mission," which is a little behind-the-scenes doc I watched.
Nice.
This is from the FOF Blu-ray collection. This one. The rights to the movie were purchased by Walt Disney Pictures in 2009, and in 2011 it was announced that Bruckheimer, think Black Hawk Down, Armageddon, The Rock, he needs no introduction, has optioned the script based on the novel. The script was written by Ted Alley with rewrites by Peter Craig. Talley worked on Silence of the Lamb, The Juror and Red Dragon. Craig did The Town, Bad Boys for Life, Top Gun Maverick. Nice little link there.
Okay.
And Gladiator 2. One of the film's producers, Molly Smith, said this: Talley and Craig have done an amazing job of combining a military film and a Western. That's from that Blu-ray feature.
Okay.
Yeah, Dennis, I agree. Cinematography... But it's bump, isn't it? It's bump for the extra feature.
It's a Western.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, really? Cinematography by Rasmus Videbeek. We're going Videbeek. Danish-born, worked on The Tower, Thor Ragnarok, Hemsworth. Because you mentioned Chris Hemsworth without saying Thor, which I thought was amazing.
I'm trying to do him a solid, all right?
I know. He's better than Thor.
Don't need to mention Marvel. They don't need They don't
need the extra bump, do they?
Yeah, they don't need me to recommend them.
They don't need Matt
Don't
Moss.
go and watch them. Don't watch a Marvel film, guys. Watch something good.
Music was by Lorne Balfe. He did Ironclad's music. England is mine.
England is mine.
England is mine.
Do you know what? That was the most. That was a travesty of trailer making that they included that in the trailer, but it wasn't in the film.
I know. Wait, if you want to see Paul Giamatti being King Edward or something, King John.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
England is mine.
England is mine. As I say, Balfe worked on 13 hours.
The one Swords and Chivalry film we've done in 2024.
It's so true. I think it's the only one we've done, actually, thinking about it. We're gonna have to change that intro.
I swear to
We're gonna
God,
have to-
25 will be better, guys. I
We're
swear.
found out by
We're
our
gonna do
intro
some.
every week. Balfe also did 13 Hours, Secret Soldiers of Benghazi, and The Tomorrow War. The film was produced in collaboration with Alcon Entertainment, Black Label Media, and Jerry Bruckheimer Films. Filmed on location in mining areas of Oro Grande, New Mexico, and Sirocco, New Mexico, filling in for Afghanistan. One of the film's military advisors was Harry Humphreys. 2 weeks on the row, 2 weeks on the bounce, who Matt talked about last week. Go back and listen to that episode to find out more about Harry Humphreys. No, I'm not that mean. He worked on Tears of the Sun. Well, no, Matt, I asked Matt for his notes about Harry Humphreys because I was like, it'll save me 10 minutes. And he went, do your own work, you scab. So, wow.
I did give you them in the end.
He did hand them over, yeah. As Matt said last week, he worked on Tears of the Sun, and many, many other movies, and including
At least
Battle
read
Down.
the list I gave you.
I know.
Bob.
I'm trying to read my notes here. I've written funny. Hang on. He's an ex-Navy SEAL.
You copied and pasted them.
I didn't copy and paste them. I rewrote them in my own words. I'm not a hack.
It's a list.
He's an ex. Right, hang on, get back on track. He's an ex-Navy SEAL and Vietnam vet, and his advising work includes Black Hawk Down, 13 Hours, and Charlie Wilson's War. There we go. That's Harry Humphreys, folks.
Wow, that's not the list I gave you, but okay.
Yeah, but I just picked out some good ones.
They're
Kevin
all
Kent.
good.
I know they're all great. Kevin Kent was the film's military technical advisor. He's also an ex-Navy SEAL. He worked on 13 Hours as well, The Tomorrow War, Kong Skull Island, which I reckon we could do, you know. Does King Kong fall under science fiction
stuff?
Does it?
Kind of. Yeah, it's more like fantasy, but yeah.
It's part of that monster universe that Paramount tried to do. Do you remember that? It failed off like 2 movies.
Didn't do so well, did it?
Yeah. And he also was in Act of Valor, I think the movie that was made by Navy SEALs or ex-Navy SEALs. It's like it's got serving troops in it or ex-veterans in it. Yeah, that's interesting. We'll do that one day. Nearly at the end of production, folks, I promise. The cast being put through a 3-week boot camp, as well as horse riding lessons. Much of the cast grew attached to the horses they rode. Hemsworth and Shannon met Mark Nooch and Bob Pennington during pre-production as well, and they also mentioned that some of the cast didn't get to meet the men that they were portraying, but Hemsworth and Shannon said it really helped them with their characterization. The movie was released in the US on January 19th, 2018, January 26th in the UK, shot for 35 million, made back 71.1 million at the box office, so we can assume it made its money back and it was a bit of a hit. Yeah, not a huge hit, but a hit.
Scraped a bit of a profit, probably.
Probably broke even,
after the promotion and stuff, yeah.
And that brings us on to this week's retro review, which comes from The Guardian by Wendy Ide on the 28th of January. The fact-based war film for producer Jerry Bruckheimer is a slick and muscular production, but like so many muscles in Hollywood, it all feels rather fake, steroidal and pumped up rather than legitimately hard won. The competent action sequences borrow the cinematic language of the Western as well as the war movie. They're heavily armed cowboys whooping their way into the fray, dodging missiles rather than arrows. Their triumph is America's triumph, but large chunks of the audience memory loss are required for it to be viewed as such.
Just because it's got horses in doesn't mean it's a Western.
I know, I thought that.
Stop. And it was a success. It's one of the most successful, insurgency, counterinsurgency operation. Well, not counterinsurgency, guerrilla operations, I should say, that the Green Berets have ever done.
I'm not going to name names, but from having done this for a few years, that I know of a few reviewers who just don't really know history or don't care. Yeah. So like it shows in reviews sometimes.
I mean, this part of the war was a success. Like this worked. This was very successful.
It's a sliding scale. The global war on terrorism.
It's
a huge one.
Post 2002 onwards, where it gets more complicated. Okay?
Gets a bit bogged down. Yeah, for want of a better word.
There's horses in it, so it's a Western.
And on to this week's One Word Reviews. Adam Christian kicks us off by saying "can't even." Brian Williams says mediocre. Jim Dudaku, mid. Dr. Grant Howard, eye roll. Stephen O'Neill, fantastic and nonsense. Tom says giddy up. And Ian Mays rounds us out this week with horses. That's a consensus, isn't it?
I don't think this film's particularly well liked.
I don't think so either. Which is funny because I
Is this the fury of horse war movies? Is that what people are saying?
It is, yeah. Is the movie a mare? We'll find out later in the final thoughts. On to the alley tally. As you'll know, Fighting on Film and Warfare Media partnered up to give our listeners a huge discount on high-quality Cold War posters. But now there's more. Warfare Media also offers clothing and the chance to order OP4 DPM camouflage uniforms. Support the podcast and use the code FOF20 at checkout for 20% off your order. Don't delay. Visit warfaremedia.net today.
It's time for Alley Tally on Fighting on Film.
Matt, I've written a lot about kit and equipment because of one thing. So do you want to fill us in on guns first?
Okay. Well, I'm going to jump ahead of you and say that I think it's Falls. He wears a woolly pulley in the camp.
Yes.
K2 camp, which is nice to see. That's my only clothing entry.
I've got more. Week. Don't worry.
Oh, I know you do. That's why I didn't bother. So yeah, everyone's packing M4A1 carbines. They've all got the Knight's Armament RIS rail forends, lots of ACOGs, lots of Aimpoint M68 close combat sights, Car 15 stocks. So it's just before the whole SOP mod improvement package came through for the.
Explain SOP mod, because you said it last week, and I worried that listeners wouldn't know what SOP mod meant.
So it's like basically the simplest way of explaining it is like a product improvement package for the M4. You get a rail, you get a new stock, you get a new optic, that kind of thing. New sling, new light, pistol grip, forward grip, that kind of stuff.
Does it come in like a stationary style gift set like you get at Christmas?
Yeah, you have to like pop it out like it's a FX kit.
I've got an image now of all these Marines like ripping under the box.
I think it comes in. I think it literally came in like a vacuum sealed bag. Basically.
That's pretty cool. Still,
yeah.
Lucky bag.
Yeah. A couple of guys, including Shannon's character, have got Surefire cans, the suppressors. A couple of guys, including I think Essex, have M203s. They're quite cool. They get used a couple of times in this, but to nice effect. A technical takes a 40mm to the front of it, and it just like
they keyed up the explosion pretty well. Actually,
it's a pretty decent representation of 203. To be fair,
yeah. Not like in 13 Hours where you can hear and see the lift.
Yeah,
for
the pyro
truck
going off.
Yeah.
There's a nice little sequence where Hemsworth pulls his Beretta.
When he's sleeping.
Dudes.
No.
In the actual in the second or third set piece.
Oh right, okay.
Transitions from his carbine to his pistol. And shoots a couple of guys, and we'll talk about this later on, but it's in the middle of that little like group of ruined houses that look like all the other groups of ruined houses.
I could talk about this later, but yes, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah,
it kind of bogs the film down a little bit in places, but anyway, we'll come back to it. Lots of nod action. So at the beginning of the film, there's I think they're PSV 14. Night vision
for anyone who doesn't know that one. Yeah,
they pop them on when they land in the MH47 Chinook, which is cool to see an MH47 Chinook variant, not the CH47, because the MH47 is the long range kind of variant that can go behind enemy lines that was decked out for the special forces. I'm
noticing there's a lot of Tears of the Sun parallels with this movie by accident. You've got the night vision insertion, you've got the special forces guys going in.
Didn't do a halo jump, but they did.
No, they didn't.
They did do a kind of a very long, very high altitude helicopter flight, which is cool.
I like when they're singing the Green Beret song on the helicopter. That was cool.
Yeah. That was cool, wasn't it? The sniper Fred has got a M21A, which is the accurized sniper rifle, and then the Northern Alliance and the Taliban they've nailed it. Whoever was armor on this really did nail down guns on this.
I think they're some of the best looking Afghan fighters I've seen in a movie.
They're pretty good, aren't they? The Taliban are all in the blacks, and they got the black flag flying.
Got the right flag. You never see that really.
And the Northern Alliance had the white flag in a couple of shots as well, which was quite cool. But yeah, they're all packing almost every AK variant under the sun. You've got AKM,
Yeah.
AKMS, you've got PKs, you've got SMLEs, a couple of SMLEs in there. The kid that follows Milo, Sergeant Milo around, he has one. And there's a little scene where Milo is holding the kid's SMLE and he's got the sights set for like 400, 500 yards, and you can just see the sights up.
Kid's
I'm
an
like, is he
absolute
going to
Donny
use it?
in that movie.
Is he going to
Yeah.
use it? He doesn't use
He
it,
doesn't.
but it's cool.
I paused it. I couldn't see if it had a cuts compensator or not. I was trying to work out what year it was. Or it was a 3-star. I couldn't work out what one it was.
Oh yeah, it was. I think I didn't have the cut off, the magazine cut off. So I think it was a Mark 3 star.
Did it have round or a block firing pin?
It was a round firing pin.
Okay, that's pre
Cocking knob.
15. I want to say 16. I can't remember off the top of my head. Yeah, early one.
Yeah. But without the cut off, so it's like a transitional.
Yeah. Save money. That's why they did that.
Rounded cocking piece. Yeah. AKMS U's, which are the 7.62 versions of the AKS 74Us, which are quite cool. Czech VZ58s, which a couple of guys had those. RPG 7s, of course. And then there's a couple of really interesting vehicles. There's like a T55, I think. I didn't get a proper
72.
look at it, so. Was it 72?
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. BMPs. There's a really cool scene, which we'll talk about later probably, with BM21 multiple rocket launch system.
Yeah, really nice. Yeah.
Which probably only one of the very few multiple launch rocket system depictions I've seen on film.
Yeah, I've not seen many of them. Yeah.
Not many.
The Afghan guys are also wearing, the Northern Alliance guys at least, some of them have got old sort of Soviet era jackets with like the fur lined collar.
Yeah.
I saw a few of them knocking around. That was
Some
nice.
chest rigs on the Afghan guys. And finally, big shout out to Dostum's epic bowl cut when he takes off his turban.
Oh, and the Makarov he uses to do in the baddie at the end.
Of course.
Very cool. Gets his moment, didn't he? Gets his cool
But the baddie
moment.
has a high power.
He does.
He shoots the woman who has
those poor
educated herself.
civilians. Yeah.
With a high power. So yeah,
He's
interesting.
so evil in this, isn't he? Evil. Oh, so bad. Such a bad baddie.
They set up the Taliban quite well, don't they?
Not too badly. Yeah, they are just there to be shot at, though. You know,
Very much so.
I would like maybe a little bit more on the reasons why, because we don't really get that.
I mean, well, we get the classic. This is based on a true story, paired with contemporary news footage at the beginning. So you don't need any more than that, Rob.
Yeah, would have been nice. Anyway, so my alley tally this week is the uniforms that the Special Forces members are wearing, because this is a very distinctive period of America's involvement in Afghanistan in that immediate aftermath of 9/11. The Green Beret men grow out their beards, beards being very important to the culture of the men of Southern Pashtun, as it was seen as like a mark of masculinity, a mark of respect, a thing like that. If you didn't have a beard, you weren't sort of talked to in the same kind of way. And they wear a mixture of civilian and military gear, the Green Beret men. In Lee Neville's book, US Army Green Berets in Afghanistan, 2001 to 2002, he briefly explains, very good book. And Matt told me that he knew him, like halfway into doing this week's ed.
Lee's a friend, yeah. We should have got him on for this, but
we'll get him on for something else.
For something else, definitely.
Maybe Lone Survivor.
Lee would have been great for this.
Because that's another Afghan war movie. Anyway, so he briefly explains the makeup of the type of kit worn by men in theatre. The first ODAs into Afghanistan wore mainly civilian cargo trousers, flannel hiking shirts and fleece jackets. Many also sported tan photographer's vests that allowed them to conceal magazines for their M4 carbines and pistols without having to wear traditional webbing or magazine pouches. Movie don't do that.
No, we don't.
But it doesn't need to, because there's a lot of different photos of
a lot of them are
dudes
wearing plate carriers without plates, like weird commercial plate carriers with Molly on the front of them.
Quite right. In all the photos I've seen of Green Berets in this era, there's more M81 load-bearing vests going on. There's a bit of Molly here and there. Not Molly, sorry. There's a bit of Alice webbing every now and then. There's chest rigs, civilian bought things like that. It's not wrong. It just because if you know it stands out to you, but it's not. It doesn't detract from the movie at all. So in the film, you see the men wear baseball caps. And one that is really prominently featured is a Carhartt brown baseball cap, which I'm almost certain has to be product placement, or one of the veterans was wearing one. There's a very famous photo of Green Berets with their Northern Alliance comrades, and one of them is wearing like a New York Yankees hat. Another one's got like a mossy oak or real wood hat. So they're really trying to like. It's quite cool, and I think they're sort of making an ode to it with this Carhartt cap. But it's every time you see him wear that cap, you can see the Carhartt logo, or you can read it. So to me,
he literally comes in with a box with Carhartt written on the side of it.
It feels like product placement.
Give the US Army a load of those caps in reality? I
couldn't find anything of that online at all. But I know that I'm thinking of Under Armour. Under Armour make the boots, don't they, for the US Army? Yeah, so. Okay. Carhartt may have been involved, but I couldn't find anything, which annoyed me. Did you think it would be a thing? Anyway, maybe if anyone listening is serving, they can let us know. I really like the black fleeces you see Michael Pena and the other team wear. They're either copies or they're based on SOCOM Spear Extreme cold weather fleece jackets made by Polartec, and they were quite prevalent
cool.
in
There's
that era.
There's some photographs of 5th Special Forces Group guys that went back to the city that they take at the end of the film in reality, and the guy who Rob Riggle plays, actually he led a party that did go and bury a piece of the Twin Towers. So that bit of the film where it seems like it's a bit ostentatious, a bit of a stretch. Which when Hemsworth buries that piece at the end, it's kind of like I guess an homage to
it's
when
nice.
The guys went back after the mission, when the area was secure, and they went and did like a full burial party for a piece of the Twin Towers in the city. So kind of cool. But in the photograph of that, I saw that they're all wearing those black fleeces. Yeah,
really popular. I think they were very popular. So if you want to be like, Green Beret cool, go and get yourself a black fleece. And then all the guys are wearing
a Carhartt cap.
And a Carhartt cap, but
like be prepared to pay at least £70 for it.
Just dress like me, essentially.
£300 for a Carhartt cap.
Yeah, go on Vinted, about 10 quid. And a lot of the cast wear the standard issue US Army Desert Camouflage DCU camo pattern that replaced Choc Chip in the mid-90s. There's Shamag scarves, and Shannon wears like a sort of civilian bought green parka.
I know that was driving you mad, wasn't it? Trying to work out what that was.
It really was. I thought it was an M51, but then it couldn't have been an M51 because it wasn't long enough. I think it might just be like a civilian bought one.
Well, I like the fact that he, in one of the establishing scenes with his family, like his wife comes and says, "Oh, you're not going, are you?" And he goes, "Of course I am." He's in his garage getting his his own cold weather kit out. Like
Bob Pennington said,
she's like, does the army not have thermals? So it's probably like a civilian bought thing he's bought.
In the making of doc, Bob Pennington says, I actually did go to my garage and get that stuff out. So that these things did happen, like a homage, and really liked it. But yeah, I thought it was really nice. Shout out to the Dushka on the technical. That was pretty cool. And
had to be in there though, didn't it? Really?
Yeah. And then another thing for Ali Tally, I've got to mention it, is the wrecked T-72, the wrecked BMP, and that wrecked technical, and that technical itself, you see about 5 times in the movie.
They make good use of it, that's for sure.
It's ad nauseum. They just move them around a little bit or shoot them from different angles, but we'll get onto that in a minute. But no, I thought in terms of costuming and an actual, mise-en-scène kit this week, I thought very strong, actually. A lot stronger than a 30mm movie probably needs to do, actually. I thought they did a very, very good job.
Yeah, I agree there. I liked that, they did weather and age and damage and, scuff up the kit as the movie went on as well. But you could see that, they're an evolution of that.
And the lads get grimier as the movie goes along as well. A little bit Absolutely. Of this. The beards grow out a little bit more. I like that. It's nice. It shows a nice passage of time. But I think that brings us on to favourite scenes.
I'm Captain Dale Dye, and you're listening to Fighting on Film.
What's your favourite scene this week, Rob?
Mine is the third set piece. So this movie is pretty much like chopped up for 4 set pieces, really. I'll talk more about the pacing and stuff later. But it's the third set piece where the Northern Alliance fighters walk into what they think is a cleared area that the SF members have called an airstrike in on.
Yeah.
And as they go in, the Taliban are waiting for them, and they're like a gun line in like the same wrecked house we saw like half an hour earlier. It's really
in the
obvious.
other set piece, yeah.
In the other set piece, yeah. The Taliban are waiting for them. The Northern Alliance open fire and charge in with like abandon. They're giving it the old charge. And Nelson's men hang back because they don't. They're a smaller force. They're there to do their own job and assist.
They can't really get. They shouldn't really be getting involved in gunfights.
Shouldn't really be engaging. No. And I like it because they hang back and the guys ask Nelson what to do, and he says support them, cover fire. But then what they do is they don't kind of like link up with the Northern Alliance. They do their own fire maneuver plan, which I really liked because it shows the different approaches to combat in this period, or combat of Task Force Dagger. They're mutually supporting each other, shouting move when they move, they're picking their targets, controlled fire, and then it'll cut to like the Northern Alliance who are just going absolutely mad with an AK or firing an RPG off and running at people. And I really liked how that sequence just showed the different terms of approach, and I think it's the more stronger set piece because of it.
It also mirrors that discussion that he has with Dostum, where he's like, my men are warriors, you think as a soldier, kind of thing.
Yeah, it shows that difference. I quite like that scene, and it just shows. It's just
one way
of
describing it, I guess. But
yeah. No, I thought it worked really, really well. And there's and you even see in that scene one of the Green Berets picks up an RPG and does knock out a dude around a corner.
Is that the one where Dostum is just running around picking up dead dudes' AKs?
That's the bit. Yeah.
Yeah, and then his Oppo next to him just nails a Talib as he pops out like a murder hole.
Yeah, it's very good.
And then he drops a grenade down. That was a very good sequence, actually.
Yeah, I really liked it. It was very strong. I mean, you get Shannon taking out people at range with his M4, which is
with
cool.
an ACOG. He's treating it like a sniper rifle. Yeah.
Poor old
It's
Shannon.
doable.
Poor old Bob Pennington. Like I must read the book, but he had a terrible time, that fella, didn't he? Like slip disc, really hurt himself.
Because in the film, obviously, Shannon has the slip disc problem as well. Because we were watching it and we were joking that he's had an easy ride. He sits in the base
in terms
for
of the actor, not the person.
Hour,
yeah,
exactly. First hour of the film, and then he just like arrives to fight, and he spends the rest of the film like kind of like prone or lying down.
Yeah, but it's testament to those guys. 12 went in, 12 came out. It's quite amazing, really, what they were doing and what they end up doing. The battle they do take part in, it's quite interesting. So, what about you? Your favourite scene, Matt?
I really like the first meeting with Dostum, where they're in the shack at what they call the Alamo after they've met the CIA guy, and he kind of gives them the worst briefing ever because he just doesn't know anything.
He's got Yellowstone to write. That's why
he's literally off with a duffel bag full of money to go and give to another warlord. It's that Yellowstone money, obviously.
Yeah.
Basically, I really like the tension of that scene where the two men, Hemsworth and Dostum, or Nelson and Dostum, are trying to weigh each other up. They're trying to work out, are these Americans legitimate? They're trying to work out, is he just going to like turn on us, sell us? Is he going to use our weapons to attack another rival warlord? All that kind of tension running through the scene, and then there's bits where
it must have been quite confusing
horse feed
for them on the ground.
Must have been. It's a very difficult situation, and again, the Afghan culture and society is very different from America's, and that was a problem that both Russia and the US would face operating in Afghanistan, like a lack of understanding and appreciation.
Everyone struggled.
Every empire. Yeah. I mean, the film does lean heavily into that, destroyer of empire. Every empire that comes to Afghanistan is destroyed. Britain, Russia, Russia again, the US, etc. But yeah, I really like that scene. I thought that the two of them, as actors, they brought a lot to that scene, and it felt like Hemsworth was really trying in that scene.
Hemsworth really sells his dialogue. I have to admit, there is.
He was really trying to give it some.
Yeah, there's some very clunky dialogue in here sometimes, and Hemsworth is doing a good job. I do rate him in his action
No, I
work.
agree. And a lot of it's expositional, isn't it? And that's the problem.
They got good chemistry. That I think him
The
and
two of them do. Yeah, they have a number of really good scenes together that work really well. There's a couple of scenes where he explains that his family was murdered in the city that they're going to take. And that it's about revenge. And they talk about the warrior kind of culture in Afghanistan. And those are the scenes where the film tries its hardest to try and discuss Afghan culture and try and impart some of what it wants to say. Although it's pretty
on the nose.
It's pretty on the nose and it's pretty surface level stuff.
And a lot of it seems to be written with hindsight as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think the film has a keen understanding that the operations in Afghanistan have gone on a long time. In 2018, it's 18 years. Not 18, but it's 17 years of continuous operations in Afghanistan. So that's something that the audience kind of expects to be touched on. So it isn't surprising that the screenwriters did try and kind of touch on it a little bit. But they're very keen to emphasize that this operation itself and this phase of the war had real meaning. And it achieved the operational goal, which was to destabilize the Taliban, remove them from power, support the Northern Alliance. And that's what they did. In that respect, it was a success. I like that set piece too. Just coming back to my favorite scene, I think that works really well. I like the final set piece, the suicide bomber scene that detonates in front of Shannon is quite gnarly. One of my takeaways, final thoughts on this is that.
Are we doing final thoughts now?
I think we're kind of moving towards it.
We need to have a final thoughts jingle, really, don't we?
We do. Just play it whenever we start talking. Just don't put like an identity. Just play the jingle so people know that we're transitioning.
Here's some back and forth. It's time for the final thoughts.
This has been such a musical episode this week.
It really has.
So I mean, we're going to talk about this in a second, obviously.
I've got a lot to unpack. A lot.
Yeah. But I think the fact that there's two key issues with this film. A, pacing.
Yeah.
Is way off. Because the film, I said to Rob, I was watching it and we were kind of watching it at the same time, but I was a little bit ahead and then he got
20 minutes ahead of me.
Yeah, so we were kind of like back and forth. And I was like, you won't believe it, but at X point, we actually have another 47 minutes of film to go. And
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, I'll talk about that in a minute. I know, so talk about it now. Do it live. Let me find the bit in the notes where I've written that.
Well, let me carry on with my initial thought, which was the problem I have with it is A, that pacing, and B, it takes a long time to get into the actual set pieces of the film and those what feels like it should be the latter half of the second act and most of the third act turns out to be most of the third act and a bit of the second act.
About an hour 20 in.
Yeah. It takes a long time to get there, but when it does, it feels like it's repetitive because we see them doing the same thing, but the problem with the film is the operation itself is, and the way it's depicted is kind of problematic in that they're forward air controllers. They're just calling airstrikes in. And I think the airstrike sequences are done really well. I think the CGI of the B-52 and the bombs falling and the radio back and forth, pretty decent representation of that. And it's worth noting that the CGI of the bombs hitting the valley floor looks really cool.
Yeah, really
but
nice.
They do that 3 times before they get to like
it's not the
operational crux.
Yeah, it's how it's put to. It's how it's been scripted. It's how it's been put to screen. That's the issue here, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not what's going on, because what's going on is very interesting, but it's how it's been done. Yeah.
And I think that's the limitation of budget and location. So they're obviously filming in a couple of valleys in New Mexico that you mentioned, so it's really hard to differentiate and make this valley look different for each operation. They can CGI in a small village, then a slightly bigger village, and then a different valley.
I mean, I'm sure that's what the terrain was like. There's all very
absolutely,
much
yeah,
like
exactly.
that, I assume. But I'm with you here. If I can jump in very quickly,
Of course.
Yeah. So I'm with you on that. It to me it felt penned in, like it didn't let itself breathe. Like you've got all this sprawling countryside.
And
You
that
only
really
see
contrasts with the massive landscape.
Yeah, but it felt so penned in. It felt really linear. And it is, and until you get to that end attack on the
It doesn't help that
Marzel,
it cuts back to the Situation Room with Finchner's character, and
Yeah.
they're like just drawing big red circles and X's around towns, and I'm like, oh god, okay, well yeah, we know they're going from A to B to C to get to this city that
and
they
that's
need to take.
fine. Yeah. But and then when they get to that final battle and they have that big sprawling valley, the movie opens up a little bit, breathes a little bit, and it engaged me because I was like, oh, we're a different part now. We're not in the same gully we've shot 3 times.
Yeah.
But circling back to the pacing, it felt like it needed a choppier edit. It needed a quicker, getting into the mission quicker. At the scene where the family back home see the news report of what's going on out there feels like the end.
It's not needed. That bit is not needed.
But it felt like the end. It felt like the credits were going to roll.
Yeah, it kind of did.
Because it felt like they'd done
showing
what they were there to
Rumsfeld
do.
doing like the speech.
Yeah.
And quoting Nelson's letter, whereas in fact, obviously it was based on what Nutch had written, but
Yeah.
I don't think it was needed. I don't think it was needed in that point.
Yeah. Can I be controversial?
Of course, always.
I think this movie, and I never usually say this about the movies that we review because they're set in a time period. This is the first time, I think, I might have done it before, I don't know, on the show. There's so many episodes. This movie didn't feel like it was 2001.
Yeah, you complained about the mise en scène of the house for 2001 at the beginning.
And there was just something that I don't know whether it was the grading or the way it was shot, but it didn't feel old enough. Like 2001 was 24 years ago. It didn't feel like we're in 01. There's just something going on here.
Think of it this way: when you watched We Were Soldiers, did you feel like it was the 60s?
Yes,
Yeah.
I did.
When
but
you watched this, did you feel like it was 2018?
A little bit. A little
I get
bit.
you.
There was something going on here. I don't know what it is. I think I've been thinking about it, and I'm going to liken back to Tears of the Sun here. Tears of the Sun used loads of stock footage when it, when it was setting up what was going on in Nigeria.
Yeah.
This movie, I think, for me personally, we've got all this, very harrowing, iconic footage of the 9/11 attacks that conjures up emotions, thoughts. It takes you. Everyone says where you were when 9/11 happened. Everyone, ask anybody, they'll remember. The movie could have done something with this footage because they use it. They show the Green Beret men watching it. I'm sure that happened. I'm sure they were watching it.
Yeah.
In their base, feeling all these emotions. But I wish that they would have gone, or maybe have gone from 9/11 footage, news reports. Everyone knows it. Then transition into titles, a little bit of black text. We're right in at the deployment scene. Cut all that preamble. Meet the lads on the ground, because then you're showing before 9/11. You're showing directly after. People say the world changed that day, and it did. Show it in movie terms. I think for me personally, I felt like that would have helped make me set it a little bit more, because I know what happened that day. I don't necessarily, and it's not like I don't need to see it.
Yeah.
Again, because it's horrific footage, but I think Would it have been too on the nose? I don't know, but there's something this disconnect here for me. It's something in the edit, something in the grade, something in the dialogue. I can't pinpoint it enough.
I don't
But
think the
there's something
scenes
here.
with the families add enough.
No.
And they kind of do a bit of a cliched setup of, oh, this guy's like 2 weeks from retirement. This guy has his wife and he loves her, and
But I like how it juxtaposes it with "They All Get Home." I did quite actually
no,
like that.
well, exactly, and it's true to life. But I did think that was handled in a bit of a cliche kind of approach.
Talking about cliches, there's quite a few in this, really.
Yeah, there's some cliche
clunky dialogue
stuff.
doesn't help. And as we said earlier, I think Hemsworth sells it. And I think Dostum and his men handle very well. They have a bit more agency than a lot of sort of Afghan stuff allows people to have in Western depictions. But they're very good. As I say, the baddies are just
Still
baddies.
would have been nice to have two Afghans have a conversation with each other.
Would have been nice as well. Yes, I do agree there. I feel like this film would have worked better as a limited series.
Perhaps so. Yeah.
Because I wouldn't have minded a whole episode on the preamble.
Yeah.
And then I wouldn't have minded 3 episodes of the operation. I wouldn't have minded that. But because it's a movie, the pacing is it's laborious. When I was getting a bit agitated watching it, looking at my phone, trying to listen. I know you shouldn't do that, but I felt myself coming off the movie. I was like, what's going on Twitter quickly, And then it snapped to that first attack, and I was like, something's happening.
Yeah.
It felt like that. Round myself out. I think it's a decent watch, but it's not a very good film either. But you could do a lot worse. And at least we got something on the early phase of the global war on terrorism. But it's no Outpost for me. That's the benchmark of war in Afghanistan films.
I agree.
And I think we'll have to follow it up with Lone Survivor, because it's the only other one I can think of that we've not done that's set in Afghanistan.
Yeah, but we'll give it a little bit of time. We'll do something.
Give it a little bit of time. It's a Mark Wahlberg movie, so we might we'll leave it a while.
For me, it's a perfectly competent mid-budget war film. One of the last.
Many of them.
Yeah.
I always feel sad when I have to say I didn't really enjoy a mid-budget one. It's a lost art, isn't it?
It is a lost art. Good cast. It's well shot. The pacing is the major issue here.
I would have loved to see a Tony Scott version of this.
That would have been tight.
Been great. Yeah.
The set pieces are good, though it does feel like they're fighting through that same village, numerous times. And I really
Mos
did
Eisley Cantina Band of Battles.
Right. Play that same village.
Attack that same gully.
Is that the same technical? I really liked Navid Negaban's portrayal of Dostum. I
Really
thought
strong.
I thought he brought a lot to that role, and I thought, as you mentioned earlier, he did have really good chemistry with Hemsworth. But my main takeaway from the film is I would have just liked Hemsworth to change a mag mid-firefight once.
Did you even notice?
Oh my God, Rob. Honestly, he's on that horse. He's firing bursts.
I love how
he's off the horse. He's firing bursts. He's firing bursts. He's bursting. He's firing the bursts.
He's our hero. He ain't got time for that.
And then, almost as a joke, got you, joke at the end of the film, he after that chap does commit suicide with a grenade, tries to take him out, Hemsworth out. Hemsworth gets back up off the ground, takes the mag out of his carbine and puts the new one in, slams the bolt release 3 or 4 times just to get it. He misses it, I think. And then he makes a radio call. And then the film is that's it. There's no more firefight. That's the only time he realized.
They did that just for you, mate. They did that for you.
I was like, up.
I love how we've reviewed this movie and its main selling point is that there's horses. And we've barely talked about the horses.
The horses are great. I like the horse
brilliant.
bits.
Yeah.
I think those sequences are really dynamically shot. There is, and to their credit, they do some horse falls and horse stunts and stuff, which a lot of modern films won't do because, of course, the westerns that everyone's likening this film to, they used wires to trip horses.
Yeah.
Some of them, not all of them, but some of them. That was a common thing. They would trip horses, and horses got injured. Horses had to be put down. So that was always like a big thing about classic cinema that uses horses.
Yeah,
but they do some fairly realistic depictions of
that's good.
the horses in combat. Although you mentioned it when you were watching, they clearly don't show the horses being shot up by like a douche.
No, I was waiting
because
for
that
it.
would be massively traumatic.
I was waiting for it. I was like, are they going to show horses being brutally hurt? Because I hope they don't. But obviously,
because I'm sure that happened.
I like actually talking of horses, and I was like, give that horse a horse BAFTA, right? when
After, if you will.
Yeah, a hoofter. When he gets off his, give him a hoofter. When Dustin, is it Dustin? I keep saying it wrong. What is it?
Dostum.
When Dostum gets off his horse to go and do in the big baddie, but it's like the horse knows what's going to happen, so the horse just wanders off at a shot. It's like horse is like, all right, I'm not sticking around for this. It just like walks at a shot. I really liked it. I thought it was really funny.
Dostum shoots the guy, and then the next sequence is him stroking the horse's head.
Yeah.
So the horse comes back. He's like, "Have you finished?
Can I have a sugar cube now?" Did quite a good run there.
It was a good take.
Right, I'll be in my trailer, literally. Right, on to this week's large question. I think we got to the end of 12 Strong. Just realised I've written 12 Stronk when I've saved my notes there. Anyway, so this week's large question, which I don't think Matt knows, is what war movie filming location would you like to visit?
No.
So we had Adam Christensen, who says all of the locations for Band of Brothers, The Longest Day and Dunkirk. Kevin Getz says Pegasus Bridge. Of course, Longest Day. AD Bonds says Hue for Mortal Jacket. Well, it sounds better than Becton Gasworks. Very good, AD. Very good. Tony Earnshaw says Tipsy, the Wild Geese. There's a dry river there and an old stone bridge.
Oof.
Very nice.
There's a ford a little bit further down. If you run across it with an FM file, you can almost hear the voice of Hardy Kruger.
Airport's not very good though. Planes don't take off very well. Yeah. JMCN says Rorke's Drift. Stuart
I would love to
Fitzel.
go there.
Oh, I'd love. Yeah, who wouldn't? Stuart Fitzel says The Great Escape. Fusen in Bavaria. Good luck, he says. Secrets in the Source. Great handle. Says Pearl Harbor. Mighty O says I desperately hope to visit Deventer Bridge, which filled in for Arnhem Bridge. And rounding us out this week, I think we'll have Robert O'Sullivan, who says the bridge on the River Kwai. You might have a job. Got blown up. Anyway, Matt, where would you like to go visit a location? I mean, I guess fictional or not, because there were some fictional ones in there.
Wouldn't mind visiting the castle where Regal's Dare was filmed.
Very nice.
Berg, Hohenwerfen. I think the village is called Loffer. The Galapagos Islands, where Master and Commander films.
Okay.
Because that'd be cool, wouldn't it? Be cool.
It would be.
When am I going to get to the Galapagos? Who knows?
I only chose this week's large question because you were on holiday last week.
I was in Vienna.
I know. Oh, Vienna.
Where the third man was set.
Oh, well, they are. Wow. For me, I think I'll echo some of the FOF fans. I want to go to Oosterbeek in Arnhem. There's the glorious shot there. And of course, the beach that 9 men were shot on.
Ooh. Yeah, Wales.
I think one day we'll have to pick a day. We'll have to heavily publicise it and go, me and Matt are going to the beach in Wales where 9 men were shot, and we're going to try and find the ridge that the Crusader tanks came out from. Come join us.
I'm going to get a model of a Crusader tank and put it on a dune.
Little dinky toy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Come with us all. Come with me and Matt, and we'll go to the pub after. I think we should do that. Little FOF trip. Do a show on it.
The remains of the hut's probably buried there still.
Yeah. I'll bring like a piece of 37 pattern webbing, and we can just bury it in the sand and time team and go, and I found that Harry Watts left it here for us.
I'm sure we can get a 55 boys cartridge.
I'm sure we can. Yeah.
And sprinkle those around.
So before we get in trouble with the Welsh Tourism Board, I think that brings us on to the end of the episode. As always, folks, thanks for listening. Don't forget to support us on all the socials you can. Use the code FOF20 at checkout on warfaremedia.com to get yourself a fat 20% off your order. He's doing camo now and shirts and things like that. So if you've got anyone in your life that likes...
Have a browse, treat yourself.
Yeah, if you've got anyone in your life that likes the Cold War, send them their way. Join the FOF Faithful page on Facebook and get involved. We're on X.
Give us a review on various platforms that you listen to the show on, that kind of thing.
All helps us out here at FOF Towers.
It does.
And that brings us to the end of this week's episode, which was on 12 Strong. And we've been very strong getting through this one.
Thank you for listening, everybody. Thanks for sticking with us.
Bye, folks. Give that man a hoofter.